My name is Dr. Richard Mugwanga. I work in JUST as a senior lecturer and director research.
Morning. Peter Bully, Chair, Department of Plant, Animal and Food Sciences, School of Agricultural and Food Sciences. Thank you.
Good morning. Patrick Ahaukwa, Registrar Planning and Administration.
Morning. I'm Dr. Joshua Agola, Chair of Department of Computer Science and Software Engineering, School of Informatics and Innovative Systems, JUST. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Roger Soyugi from Mason University and also an alumni of HBT and the postgraduate in Badi. Thank you.
Thank you. Good morning. I'm Justice Ochieng Odemba from Mason University. I work in the county government of Kisumu as an administrator, and I'm also the former alumni of HSWT. Food Chains in Agriculture 2022.
Good morning. My name is Professor Pamela Raburu. I'm Director Quality Enhancement and Assurance. I belong to School of Education, JUST. Thank you.
Joseph Bosire, Professor of Education, School of Education, Humanities and Social Sciences. Thank you very much.
Good morning, everyone. I am Dragan Berkovic from WEIHENSTEPHAN-TRIESDORF University of Applied Sciences, agricultural economist and project coordinator for Technology and Transfer Pact with Africa.
Professor George Ayodo, Dean School of Health Sciences.
Good morning. My name is Dr. Vitali Sabuga Mugwambo, the Dean School of Business and Economics.
Good morning. I'm Professor Lorna Grace Okoto, Dean, School of Spatial Planning and Natural Resource Management.
Good morning. I'm Professor Julius Manyala, Associate Professor in the School of Spatial Planning and Natural Resource Management, but also the Director, Board of Postgraduate Studies. Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Kenneth Wamuga, working with Farming Systems Kenya. It's an NGO based in Nakuru. I'm the programs manager. Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Humphrey Wafula. I'm the executive director, Farming Systems Kenya. I'm an implementing partner with HSWT, and we are glad to be here today.
Good morning. Dr. Walter Kuno, Registrar Academic, Student Affairs and Research. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. Professor Sylvan Sabeka, an associate professor in the School of Informatics and Innovative Systems. I'm also the director in charge of our Center for E-Learning and a member of the organizing committee for this workshop. Thank you.
Thank you. And I am looking at some people at the back. I'm going to go there.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. The name is Professor Obelgor Christopher. I'm an associate professor of agricultural economics and also the dean of students at Jaramongi Odinga University of Science and Technology. I am also the contact person for the International Masters in Farm Management between JUST and TRIESDORF University. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Just bear with me. Two more.
Good morning. Anya Weber from HSWT. I'm working in developing of online training materials together with our 6 African partner universities. Thank you.
Hello, good morning. My name is Tobias Kreising, and I'm an innovation specialist and a startup coach.
Thank you so much. Our chief guest, this was deliberate. Number 1, so that you could hear everybody's voice. And number 2, so that we could acknowledge the diversities of the excellence of academic representation that is in this room. I have deliberately not introduced the people up front because there will be time for you to do that. Ladies and gentlemen, I always have a problem giving my back to people as I talk. So I am going to misbehave and get a microphone that is less noisy. Thank you so much. Is it possible to disarrange the room? Like do something like this, please. I feel much better. Thank you. Thank you. But don't worry, I have not come to disarrange Joost. It's just this space. With those introductions, allow me to just give my opening remarks and then invite the next speaker. And even as we do that, to our chief guest, the Director for Research, Science and Technology in the State Department of Higher Education and Research, Dr. Roslida Owuor, who very graciously at the last minute made it to be with us. The President of WEIHENSTEPHAN-TRIESDORF University of Applied Sciences, who has been teaching me some German this morning. Our partners, part of the introduction was to know who the partners were, and I'm so glad that you're here with us. Our chairman of our University Council, Professor Shem Wandiga, the other members of the University Council seated right here, members of the University Management Board, and allow me at this moment to introduce Professor Thuo, who is the Deputy Vice Chancellor in charge of Planning, Administration and Finance. I always say it is PAF because it is powerful. Thank you, Professor Thuo. And Professor Ochuodo, and I must always not say Shem Ochuodo because Shem Ochuodo is a different person, who is our acting Vice Chancellor in charge of academics, student affairs, and research. Karibu sana. Our deans and directors, and our alumni, the alumni of our program seated at the back, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, good morning one more time. I welcome you all, and I'd like to thank you for honoring this invitation to come to this high-profile meeting between Jaramongi Odinga University of Science and Technology and the WEIHENSTEPHAN-TRIESDORF University of Applied Sciences. Despite the very short notice, I am so grateful. I want to express my personal gratitude to our dedicated researchers, collaborators, and the institutions that have supported our research endeavors. And I remember the president told me, we are not dealing with projects, we're dealing with partnerships. And that makes for something to celebrate. If it was in my village, somebody would be doing Sigalagala, but it is not my village, so it's okay. Sigalagala is a sound of jubilation. Joost boasts 8 distinguished schools, and each of them is a beacon of academic excellence in its own right. And that was partly why I allowed us to do that kind of introduction. We've got the School of Agricultural and Food Sciences, the School of Business and Economics, the school with a long name, Biological, Physical and Mathematical Sciences, the School of Engineering Technology, the School of Education, Humanities and Social Sciences, the School of Informatics and Innovative Systems, the School of Health Sciences, the School of Spatial Planning and Natural Resource Management. Each one has a role to play in the internationalization of our education, and each one is looking at ways of getting involved. Over the past year, our research teams have made substantial progress in various fields. These have resulted in several notable publications, and they've also managed to secure some competitive grants And for this, I want to thank our faculty. Since gaining university status in 2013, we have overseen 45 multidisciplinary projects, which is a testament to our commitment to research and innovation, and that falls squarely in your docket. So we are here to help you shine. Please remember, we are here to help you shine, and we'd like to help you shine. In this current financial year, we are implementing 18 projects with a total budget of 94,561,606 shillings and 7 cents. That is Kenyan money. And these are funded from both external and internal resources. The university continues to implement both new and ongoing research projects. And among the diverse local and external funders, we have the Kenya government, the World Bank, the Danish International Development Agency, DANIDA, the Belgian funding agency, there's a way it is pronounced, but VLIROUS, the US government through USAID, Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, CDC, the World Health Organization, the Canadian International Center for Research and Development, the German International Development Agency, and I regret that they were unable to make it because of the short notice that we gave them. We have learned that for us to have certain entities represented, we need to give a 5-month notice. Deans, did I just say something? I did. So GIZ, FAO, the Swedish International Development Agency, SIDA with an S, not the Canadian one with a C, Swedish International Center for Local Democracy, ICDL, Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, as well as a project that is funded by Natural Environment Research Council, NERC, Economic and Social Research Council, ESRC, and the Department for International Development, DFID. Those are many big, strong, powerful brothers or sisters upon whom we could call. And we have intentions of continuing to do that. And in order for us to be allowed at the gate when we knock, we are doing our best to behave. So that when we go back, they say, I know you, come in. Not, I don't know you, go away. And locally, the university receives research grants, and these are mainly from NACOSTI, Kenya Agricultural Productivity and Agro-Business Project Competitive Grant System, the CAPAP CGS, and the National Council for Persons with Disabilities. Our collaborations with esteemed institutions, especially WEIHENSTEPHAN-TRIESDORf, University of Applied Sciences and Industry partners, continue to play a pivotal role in expanding the scope and impact of our research and curricula, especially the scope of our curricula, because we intend and aspire to have teaching programs that are informed by the reality on the ground. Our intentions are that the output and outcome of our research has a direct impact on not only what we teach, but how we teach it and how far that teaching extends. And therefore, universities have employed various strategies to internationalize, such as recruiting international students and faculty, and that is work in progress for us. The universities and ourselves also offer programs that are acceptable internationally. Universities also forge alliances and develop joint programs. This partnership that we have is one way of getting us into that league of universities. In this era where higher education is in high demand and employment opportunities are scarce, internationalization offers a viable and valuable solution to these existing challenges. And so we have a big need for internationalization, and our agenda cannot be overemphasized. There are funding limitations, and to address this, We have diversified our funding sources and actively pursue grant opportunities. Our chief guest, I need to conclude, but allow me to emphasize the significance of research at JOOST and its critical role in advancing knowledge and making a positive impact. I am confident that our research potential, I am confident in our research potential. I'm also confident that as we go and as we share knowledge and perhaps modes of conducting research, that sooner than later, the impact of our research on the immediate community around the university and then growing a little wider. Was that diffusion or osmosis? I think it is diffusion. Growing a little wider onto the county, the Lake region, the nation, the Eastern African community, etc., will be visible. I have full confidence that we will continue to be at the forefront of groundbreaking research, of driving innovation, and making a meaningful difference in our society. This, our guest, among many other collaborations that are geared towards the internationalization of our programs, constructive engagements, and strategic collaborations should propel us to the next level. I have made very many remarks. As you have noticed, I'm very talkative. So I will now limit myself to say thank you. Thank you very much for making time to be with us. And thank you all for being in our midst. At this moment, I would like to invite the chair of our council, Professor Shem Wandiga, who I'd like to believe needs no introduction. And if you think he needs an introduction, please Google Shem Wandiga. And let's have a chat after that Googling. But I'd like to proudly present him as our chair of council, notably our immediate employer, Prof. Karibu.
Ladies and gentlemen, let me start off by saying that in my earlier years of education, I learned German for 2 years, but it has all evaporated in my head. I also managed to spend about 1 month at Max Planck Institute under the late Nobel laureate, Professor Paul Crutzen, which now introduced me into climate change and adaptation. The Governor Kisumu County, His Excellency Professor Peter Nyang'nyong'o, I don't see him here. The Deputy Governor Kisumu County, Dr. Matthew Owili. The Director Research, Science and Technology, State Department of Higher Education and Research, Dr. Rosaleda Owur. The President, WEIHENSTEPHAN-TRIESDORF, University of Applied Sciences. The Vice Chancellor, Jaramongi Odinga University of Science and Technology, Professor Emilia Chingu Akuno. Our partners, members of the University Council present, members of faculty, invited guests, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. Good morning. A warm welcome to Kisumu County and by extension as the host institution to Jaramogi Oginga Odinga University of Science and Technology. I want to thank WEIHENSTEPHAN-TRIESDORF University of Applied Sciences for their collaboration that has added value to the JOOST curriculum and academic engagement. We want to thank the entire team that traveled all the way from Germany to join us this day for this high-profile engagement. Ladies and gentlemen, the internationalization of higher education and its profound impact on our institution, Jaramongi Odinga University of Science and Technology, JOST, is critical to shaping the future of our university and the education landscape as a whole. Many times I've gone to places, and when I say I'm chairman of JOST, they say, oh, that university with the longest name ever. But we are stuck with it, and we are proud to own it. Our university has committed itself to ensuring the provision of top-tier education, training, and research across all levels of academic engagement. One of the hallmarks of JOST journey to excellence is our experience in managing donor funding. Our partners in these endeavors range from the World Bank to the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, showcasing our diverse and global network. Now let's delve into the heart of today's meeting. The internationalization of higher education is not merely about recognizing international students, cultures. It's about integrating diverse cultures into our educational experience. This approach aligns with our mission to provide holistic education and transcends borders. Collaboration is key to internationalization. Since 2020, our partnership with WEIHENSTEPHAN-TRIESDORF University of Applied Sciences has thrived, focusing on the development and accreditation of the international masters in farm management, digital materials for e-resources, and collaborative research for funding. Notable achievements include the advancement of the IMFM curriculum, faculty members attending workshops at HSWT, and the successful recruitment of students for the international program. Furthermore, our technology adoption and transfer program collaboration has secured an Erasmus cooperation for holistic agriculture, innovation, NETS, 3-year project, among other initiatives. Ladies and gentlemen, the motivation behind this joint workshop on internationalization is clear. We aim to enhance collaborations, share best practices, and identify strategies to promote cross-cultural exchange and academic cooperation. The workshop's expected deliverables include strengthened academic collaboration, sharing best practices, enhancing curriculum globalization, establishing student and faculty exchange opportunities, and cultivating intercultural competence. In conclusion, the internationalization of higher education is not just a mere concept, but a transformative journey. Through collaboration and internationalization, we can equip our students with the skills and knowledge needed to thrive in a globalized world. Together with our esteemed partners, such as HSWT, we are committed to shaping a brighter future for higher education. Thank you for your attention, and let us embark on this journey of internationalization, what a mouthful, and collaboration together. Thank you.
I feel like asking for a factorial clap, but maybe the time will come a little later. Thank you, Chair. Thank you very much, Prof. If you ever need words of inspiration, I think you just got some there, didn't you? And if you had forgotten what you might do, I think you just got a few reminders. If you unpack those sentences, you'll probably create a 5-year strategic plan. Give it a try. Let's see how that works. And now I have the pleasure, ladies and gentlemen, to invite our partner from the US. No, from Germany. Why the US? Ugenya Siaya. Okay. The head of the HSWT International School from HSWT-Triesdorf, Professor Dr. Ralph Schlauderer, to please come and make his remarks. And then I'm going to ask you to do something very special for me at the end of your speech. If you could kindly invite our chief guest to make her remarks. Is that okay? Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Vice Chancellor. Good morning, everybody. And let me say jumbo. I have done a lot of jobs at our university. I would say almost every position I had, besides president. And I'm not aiming to go for this position. I'm not jealous for this. It's a hard position as to be vice chancellor and to lead an organization with a lot of administrative work, and maybe not with the ideas somebody started to work at a university, living for science, working in the science, and at the end you're sitting a lot at a desk and talk about other sciences, but not about yours. Ladies and gentlemen, before I start with my words regarding to our cooperation, I'm very proud to be applied. Agriculture is applied and food is applied sciences. And I learned today also that other sciences I haven't had in mind to be applied are also applied. Your Vice Chancellor started with a sound check. To get it on the technical level, needed to have a good language and speech. Yes. She was singing with us, applied. And then she moved this furniture to the side by herself. I think that's also applied. And applied means that we're doing the right things which are needed. Basic science have their needs, applied sciences have a little bit different needs and different way to be done. And I'm a professor, doctor of agricultural economics. I'm responsible for 2 international master study courses. For our HSWT, maybe that was US maybe, but I'm German. For our international school, and I'm responsible for this project where we are working in for quite a lot of, quite number of other projects in internationalization also. And I have 2 honored doctorships from other universities and 5 honored professorships from other universities. But if you ask me what is my job, I'm a servant for agriculture. I'm a servant for farmers. Because I'm paid by tax money to support the development of agriculture. And development of agriculture means that our farmers can get forward. And if our farmers, now I'm talking about German farmers, are not getting forward because of my work, then I'm overpaid and I'm doing something wrong. And the problem with this kind of work we have done and what we see in a lot of countries, also in our own country, in Germany, that in the past, because of the ranking system, global comparison in between universities, there are some criteria put very, very high, like the publishing in pre-reviewed journals. All of you try to do it. Because the Vice Chancellor is saying we get up in the ranking if we do it. I would like to ask to be careful with this kind of criteria. Because I would like to ask who of you has published in high-ranked journals? And the second question just would be, and which farmers have used this knowledge afterwards? Just this. We are pushed to do something maybe which is not helping the farmers. Because if I have to come into a high-ranked journal, I need a new model, a long formula, very scientific, something very new. And then I look to the farmers and I see they don't even use cross-margin developed 80 years before. And this is not our fault, I would like to say. The system tried to have international comparison to understand that's okay. But I would like to say that's okay for basic sciences. For medicine, for example, there you need it. That's totally okay. For Oxford and Cambridge, okay. We are targeting more to the area of Wageningen. Wageningen is not under the first universities worldwide, but most important maybe for agriculture and food at the moment, together with Davies. And I just was coming before I was here on a workshop of the biggest Western European conference for food and agriculture, the Tropentag. And we made a workshop about rankings for applied sciences. And I'm sure in 10 or 20 years we will have different rankings for applied compared to basic sciences. Because I think a lot of people understood that if we go the wrong way in this only publication ivory tower, we cannot help our people. And we have to help our people because science universities are needed on the ground for the farm enterprises, also for subsistence farmers, for our people in our areas. We have to do this. We have to be close to them and we have to try to get forward. We started 5 years before our university decided we want to support agriculture, rural areas, livelihoods in rural areas to have a better life, also in Africa. We have 30 years experience with international cooperation with the former Soviet Union countries, Ukraine, Russia, there is war, but Ukraine we support very much with Russia because of and Kyrgyzstan, Uzbekistan, in the Caucasus, Armenia, Azerbaijan and Georgia, we have a lot of experience. And we wanted to share our experience with African partners. We don't have the solutions for you. We have experience. We will push our partners. The partners have to want. And then we can help. If somebody doesn't want, you can do whatever you like. We can offer a way of cooperation in a practical way to share our experience, how to cooperate with farmers very closely, how to cooperate with agricultural and food industry very closely, how to bring in innovations with the examples in our country, but also we love to work in a network. I think it's so important. You need such a lot of ideas which cannot be given just by one university or by one partner. You need a lot of informations and you have to get this networking that you can get what you think is helpful for your development in your area. So we can support one part. We have chosen. We also talked to Maseno. I'm very happy that Maseno people are also here. We have not chosen Kenyatta University in Nairobi because we believe agricultural universities have to be in the rural areas, not in the capital. Which young guy who has made an agricultural education in a capital will go afterwards back to the village? Which input will come from the capital to the village? In the rural area, like Jews, community-based, oriented to support the community, directly having their clients in front of the nose, can cooperate. This is what we need. And we do need young universities also. Our experiences also with Soviet Union country was, you always have the lead university in the capital. 100 years old maybe. And they are proud to be 100 years old. And I say, you can be proud because it showed 100 years you have been competitive. What is about the next 10? Are you competitive in the next 10 years? If you go on like in the past, you will not. The world is changing too fast. The demands are too high that you can go on just like before, saying, because we have been good in the past, we will be good in the future. This is not working. Competition and demands are too high. And young universities like Jews 15 years old, they are still listening and looking which is the way to go. They are flexible. They can develop in the right way. I don't say in the way we propose. We just offer a possibility what could be done. You have to find your way yourself, but you are still flexible. And the big universities often are not. Why are we cooperating with African countries? We are also asked by our farmers and by our taxpayers about it. Why do you put your time and your effort to other countries? We are living in one world. The challenges of this world is relevant for all of us. If we do not solve the big challenges together, we will fail. Also our society will fail, I'm convinced. Climate change and the things coming out of it is just one topic. Peace and understanding is another one, which is changing in our time. We experience how war is coming back. Never we experience in Europe to have war. We have. And we have huge problems. And I'm convinced that we have to act as friends. We can offer. We have to be willing to share experiences and possibilities and to go together forward as well as possible. I'm happy that Farming Systems Kenya is here. They show one link we try to establish also with the networking. And I'm a friend of competition, ladies and gentlemen. Competition helps us to try to work a little bit harder and to get more forward. That's why we cooperate in Kenya with JUST, but also with Southeast Kenyan University and also with Maseno. And I know that there is competition, but I think if you put your forces in certain national-wide, you have much more possibilities to push in this direction. That the supporting elements are much more important than this we are in competition and we cooperation also inside the country, not only supporting the farm management study course also for the Sekou University starting a little bit more late. Now we are cooperating since 5 years. 2018 we started. The first visit, Dennis, we have been here with Ben. It was like so often, the persons we meet convincing us that this might. So it was important that you have been there. And then COVID was coming on. And a lot of institutions said, okay, we cannot go on, you understand, it's COVID time. We go on after COVID and lost 2-3 years. But it was a challenge like a lot of others, COVID. COVID gave us the chance to develop digitalization, online materials. We have 150 professors in our university. In my faculty of agriculture, food and nutrition, we have about 30 professors. I was the dean of this faculty. I would say about 1/3 of online digitalization, never ever. Never ever. We don't touch. We go on like before. Not all professors are innovative. I guess not here and also not in Germany. But then there was COVID and it worked. Everybody had to do it. And we developed online materials which helps us now also for cooperation. Because we have a lot of online materials we can use internationally, which was not available before. What I want to say is, if there's something coming up, which is, it shall make us proud and strong to think about how to get over it. And cooperation, like the Vice Chair said before, I do not talk about the project. If you look for cooperation internationally, there are usually two typical ways. There is a project, then we are looking who are the partners for 3-4 years, we make the project, the next project is with others. Or there is a personal attitude that I say, this is my friend in Kenya, we cooperate, and then I'm retired, and the one after me says, I also have a friend, but he is in Latin America. And cooperation stops. From one day to the other, I've seen it. The only chance to have a long-term cooperation in between universities is to go for double diploma. And that's what we are doing here with this international farm management. This is the platform for meat in the long term. Because if Christopher is responsible for master farm management, and he will be replaced, somebody else is going in this master and is interested in the cooperation with us. And if I will be replaced, somebody else in our university will be there and is interested in the cooperation with JUST. This is the long-term platform which is lasting, and we experienced it in the other network for 30 years and more, not limited. Nevertheless, projects are important. Projects give us funds and possibility to walk more fast, to more deep, to do more. That's why we need projects. But I'm not hunting any project which is not on the line of my road. You can offer me 5 million in another area, I will say it's not interesting for me, because I have to go there and not do this. We have a lot of things done together in this time. We had a lot of exchange. But, and I'm coming to the end, let us be this just the beginning. 5 years to change anything in your county is no time. 5 years to change something in agriculture is no time. We will need 10, 15 or 20 years to see the fruits of our work on the farms. And I like to see these results. I like to see that the work we are doing together has an impact on farmers. The JUST is known, and our university also, for work together with associations, with industry, with farmers, that they say, give us more of your alumni. We need this kind of people to get forward. We want your people. You are doing the right thing. This is what I want. Then I know we are on the right track. Not that we give nice certificates to our alumni and say, you were so good, good luck for the future. That's not enough. We have to bring them into the job. They have to have the job and do and take the things we learn them into practice and to be productive, effective for our communities. And this workshop here is not to tell how good we are. This workshop here together with all of you, and I really appreciate that you have taken the time to do this, is to stop a moment, to look back and to think about what was really interesting and good and should be followed on, and where we can say maybe this is not so much interesting and we can leave it a little bit beside. And we should be always honest. We have to be honest that we find the right way for the future. If we have done this, if we understood where the way may go on for the future, then I think we are best prepared to go this way, maybe also to find some project on this way. But first we have to know the target where we want to go before we are looking for money. So, happy that all of you are here for making an evaluation also and thinking about what is needed for the future. What I've seen while I was visiting a lot of countries, and always I'm going to the farm when I can, is university knowledge. Modern, let's say not university knowledge. Modern agricultural knowledge is needed on farms. There is a high potential to be developed. We could do a lot for our people, and I think we have to. Thank you so much. And you ask me to give forward. I have to have a look. I have the pleasure to give the word now to the representative from CS Ministry of Education. Is it you? So, thank you so much.
Thank you, President. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. President. I'm here at the capacity of representing the Principal Secretary, State Department for Higher Education and Research, and I'm going to deliver her speech. Speech by Dr. Beatrice Muganda Injangala, Principal Secretary, State Department for Higher Education and Research in the Ministry of Education, during the high-profile research collaborative meeting between JUST and WEIHENSTEPHAN-TRIESDORF University of Applied Sciences, held on 25th September 2023 at the Grand Royal Swiss Hotel in Kisumu. The chief guest, His Excellency the Governor, Professor Peter Anyang'nyong, the Deputy Governor, His Excellency Matthew Owili, the President, WEIHENSTEPHAN-TRIESDORF University of Applied Science, other partners, the Chairman of University Council, Professor Shem Wadiga, members of the University Council present, the Vice Chancellor, Jaramongi Odinga University of Science and Technology, Professor Emily Acheng Akuno, members of faculty, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. It is a privilege to come together with the two partners institutions, that is Jaramongi Odinga University of Science and Technology, JUST, and WEIHENSTEPHAN-TRIESDORF University of Applied Sciences, in this prestigious gathering aimed at discussing potential areas of collaboration and mutual engagement. I would also like to extend my gratitude to the supporters, including the German government through GIZ of this initiative, the national and county governments, and all the partners who have contributed in planning this collaborative meeting. Ladies and gentlemen, the quality of education and research serves as a critical determinant of the caliber of professionals and experts produced by our local universities. In this regard, universities must maintain their focus on the relevance of their academic programs. Universities should strive for specialization and make deliberate investments in programs that can attract local and external fundings. As a State Department, our commitment to supporting the higher education sector remains steadfast, ensuring that both quality and relevance are achieved, which in turn benefits our economy. Ladies and gentlemen, it is well known that there is a growing demand in the job market for individuals with specialized and broad competencies, crucial for a modern, globally competitive and knowledge-based economy. Additionally, there is an ongoing need for continuous professional development. Ladies and gentlemen, the government has allocated funds for research conducted by university academic staff, which is administered through the National Research Fund. I encourage you to take advantage of these resources to support the government's agenda, Kenya Vision 2030, and the Global Sustainable Development Goals. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I'm also pleased to note that JUST has been proactive in expanding its research portfolio. The significance of research in higher education is underscored by its impact on global university rankings. The university has increased the number of grant applications, resulting in over Kenya shillings 10 billion worth of research grants. This is truly explanatory. We have consistently emphasized the pivotal role of research, innovation, and technology as drivers of development in today's world. Given the limited resources allocated to universities for expansion purposes, it is essential for the university to engage with international partners, private entities, and county government to attract investments that can supplement the government's effort in infrastructure development. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, the demand for higher levels of skills and competencies required in a modern, globally competitive, and knowledge-based economy continues to grow in the labor market. Therefore, universities must produce graduates who are well prepared to thrive in an ever-evolving work environment. I'm aware that this particular collaboration between JUST and Tresford University of Applied Sciences has, through its students, faculty exchanges, enhance the quality of products that this particular collaboration has initiated. I'm aware that several cohorts of JUST alumni students are in German as a result of this collaboration. At the end of this meeting, it will be rewarding to see enhanced engagements between more partners so that the stakeholders present here today can be beneficiaries of this engagement. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, in conclusion, emphasize universities using human capital that can compete effectively and remain relevant to current needs. The programs developed by universities should be not only relevant, but also contribute significantly to our development agenda. Universities should actively engage in cutting-edge research and innovation will position our country where competition is in a world where competition is increasingly global and advanced technologies are continuously adopted to gain a competitive edge in the job market, the government places a premium on university education. The State Department remains dedicated to providing the necessary support and creating an enabling environment for universities to evolve into credible institutions that produce highly skilled labor for the job market. Finally, I extend my best wishes to you all in your future endeavors. Thank you, and may God bless you.
I think another round of applause will do. Thank you very much. As you heard from the speeches, we did expect the office of the governor to be represented. And when they come, they will do their bit. But for now, I suggest that we do proceed, okay? We have those who came in after the introductions. We will not go back there. I want to ask my DVCs to decide between themselves who is coming to give the vote of thanks. This is called democracy. And as we do that, allow me to say asante sana. It's really been a pleasure listening to yourself. And we have made you president. Actually, you are representing the president, so don't worry. Thank you so much. Professor, please come.
morning, ladies and gentlemen. I think I have a very humble but relatively small duty to extend a vote of thanks. So first I extend my thanks to the Germans who traveled all the way yesterday to come here. Für uns, glaube ich, das ist eine große Ehre und wir sagen Dankeschön. And for our representative of the PS, I know we ambushed you, but within a very short time, you were able to come to us. We thank you very much, and we also thank you for the continued support for our university. Chairman, thank you so much for taking your time to come here. It's not always easy to fly from the city to the village, but we are always happy to have you with us. And for the VC, thank you so much for allowing us to host this occasion. I think without your support, it would have not been very possible. For my fellow DVC, thank you for the support. And for colleagues, thank you so much that you came. Without you, this would have not been possible, particularly the organizing committee, led by Professor Obel Gore Christopher. Thank you so much. So I think at this juncture, may I hand over to Professor Christopher? Do you want to tell us where to go to? Thank you so much.
Thank you. I'm breaking a bit of protocol. I would like to really appreciate and recognize Professor Bosire. There is much that he did before I came into the office, because this started way before I came. Omogaka, mbeamono sana, usesenigwe. That is all my kegusi. It's gone now. There's no more. Prof, here you are. We've actually saved some time, haven't we? We're good.
Yeah, thank you so much. And I think the high table deserves more than that. And I'm going to demonstrate how to appreciate them. Let me put this down. I want you to warm your hands until it becomes hot. And then disengage. Disengage once more. And slightly. Thank you so much, high table. At this moment, is it okay if those who came late can introduce themselves? Yes, there are members who came late. Yes, starting from here. Introduce yourself.
Okay, good morning. This is Dr. Dorothy Onjwa. Sorry, from Jaramongi Odinga University. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Dr. Lydia Nyambok from the School of Agriculture and Food Sciences.
Good morning. My name is Felix Akach from Agri-Dairy Innovation.
Good morning. My name is Dr. Michael Nyagol from the School of Business and Economics.
Good morning. Professor Bernard Okelo, School of Biological, Physical, Mathematics and Actuarial Sciences. Thank you.
Good morning. Charles Otieno, School of Education, Humanities and Social Sciences, Dean.
Good morning. Dr. Nelson Obange from the School of Business and Economics, Maseno University.
Professor Morris Nyadawa, School of Engineering and Technology, Jaramongi.
Good morning. Dr. Mary Orinda, School of Agriculture and Food Sciences, Jost.
Good morning. My name is Dr. Caleb Ochiolwen. I'm the Dean, School of Agriculture and Food Sciences. Sorry I was late. I was held in the office of the governor and the deputy governor. They're still, they have a lot of engagement. They're still looking at the possibility of whether the deputy governor can be here or his representative. But we are optimistic that they should be able to send a representative. Thank you very much.
Then at that point, we are kindly requesting that we break for a group photo. Then after that, we can go directly for health break after the photo. So therefore, kindly can we organize to the photographer to organize where we can take the group photo? Photographer Pinaisa.
we have to cooperate also inside the very best. Now, how can be done? How is training centers, and to develop this with farmers, where university could support how to make business plans and everything which is needed for this, and to create the idea, and then to come closer by the ideas of the university to work with farmers. But the basic thing for cooperation, to really establish a long-term cooperation, and this should be in your mind, is what I told before in the first speech. You need a kind of double diploma courses. One may be with us in farm management. We may have other ones with Belgium or with Netherlands or US, however, but only these double diploma courses guarantee you not just talk about a project, but to talk about cooperation in the long run. And this cooperation in the long run, we started with farm management as a study course, introduced here. It's already introduced in Togo, in Kara University. It's introduced in Ethiopia, in Asi University. It's going to be introduced in Uganda, in the mountains of the Moon University, always the same study course. And you see immediately, same study course, we can cooperate with all of them. We have the same study course. We have the same lectures. We can help each other. So this study course is very much important, that you have such a study course to cooperate, because then you always meet. And I don't know if you know Gauf engineers, very active German enterprise, active in Africa. And the senior chief who started said, talking brings people together. You have to meet and to talk, and then you can understand what can be done. So we need this platform to meet, and this is the International Study Course Farm Management. If you have students here and there, you always have problems, so to solve problems with students. You have to take care for them. It's not working. And then the professors are talking to each other. And by the way, Christopher tells me then, there is another thing we would urgently need in our area. It's dealing with machinery rings. Do you have an idea what we can do? And I can say, well, machinery ring is not my topic, but I know the German machinery ring in Ingolstadt, and we can link you to them, and then it can go on. So this platform to also help others, not a promise that it always works, just a support to have somebody in Germany knowing the scientific area and other partners who could help getting forward. It always depends on people. Everything depends on people. You have to find the right people that you can do something, and we can support this. Now, internship. When I was a student, it was obligatory for students to have half a year or 1 year placement on the farm in Germany. In university, it's totally gone. I talked to Christopher. When he was studying, there was also more practical relevance. And step by step, we have lost this practical relevance by going into these publications to be highly sophisticated scientific. And we have a study course. I will not show you the study course now, but it's 4 semesters, the master. You can enter it if you have done a bachelor in agriculture or related fields, which means could be a crop production bachelor, could be a veterinary, could be an agricultural economist, however. And then 4 semesters on top is coming, the masters in farm management. And the first semester is a placement on a farm. To work half a year on a farm with farmers. That's what we are doing. And this practical experience to work on the farm helped the students afterwards to understand the theory. For example, when I talk about depreciation, about costs of a tractor, I asked them, you have been on a farm, there has been a tractor, what are the costs for the farmer for this tractor? And from this way we start with the tractor, they know to calculate the fixed cost, the variable cost, the borders when it's worth to buy the machine and everything, but always related directly to own experiences. I just had a meeting with the ambassador of Ethiopia and an Ethiopian colleague from from Havasa University in Ethiopia. And he said he visited our students, his Ethiopian students working with us. And the first thing he was doing, he said, he checked the hands. He wanted to see that they have worked manually. And he has seen the proof. He said, I could touch it. They worked manually. And this was for him important. He mentioned it there. And the second thing he has mentioned was, he told about an investor of Germany who has invested in Ethiopia in a dairy with 150 heads of Simmental. So, one Simmental cow brought to Ethiopia $5,000. 20 or 30% of the cows died. 20 or 30% of the investment gone. Because not the right stuff. Not the stuff taken care for the feed and for the housing and the care and the water enough and everything. So you need the right stuff. And then he said, I looked in Ethiopia. Ethiopia is a big country and agriculturally also strong. And he said, I was searching 1 year. And I have not found somebody who could manage this farm. Because nobody was so practical, oriented and trained that he could manage the farm. And the investor left the country. This is just 4 days ago when I had this talk together at the embassy in Germany. And this is where we want to be in. We want to have the people who can manage such farms. We want the people trained first, practically and theoretically on the highest knowledge, what is possible, but what is needed, that they can be the real manager for farms. That they can be in the extension service also, that it can be also in ministries to know what's going on the farms, what can be done, and so on, and for industry. Now, about this internship, about half a year placement on the farm, you will tell me, Ralph, what are you telling? Shall we send our students to our farms? What will they learn there? Yes, that's a real problem to get good placement farms. Huh? Somebody who knows how to train young people on a farm, what is needed. That's a challenge. But I would like to ask, is there another opportunity then to solve it? We need training farms. It's our task. We have to find the farms and to promote them and to help them to get forward, that we have our training farms where we send the farms, where we can go to collect data with the students. That's another point. In one of our subject, production economics, the lecturer is going on the farm with the student, collect data on the farm about one production. Coffee production, for example, or wheat production or corn production, and makes with the data collected with the student the economic calculation what it means. This has a lot of advantages. The students are on the farm and understand how to collect data and how to correct the data collected because the experienced lecturer is with them. They know about how much is a typical gross margin, how much is a typical yield on the farm, the same way. The lecturer is on the farm and talks to the farmer because he is accompanying the group. And if he has open ears, he understands the problem of the farmer and knows maybe which kind of research might be helpful. If he has done this some years, he has collected the data about the farming in the region and understands where the farmers are, where are the bottlenecks and all of this. This is coming with the educational process itself and is closing step by step the gap to the farmers. And I can tell you, the first time I was on a farm, I've done placement also, but the first time you are on a farm as a researcher and the people look at you and say, you have to know everything. It's not a comfortable situation because you do not know everything. But you have to know what you can do and what not, and you have to speak to the farmers and understand it and to be close. And then you get the feedback of the farmers that they say, yes, this is something we need. This is helping us. And if the governor would be here, of the district, he will also listen to the farmers if they say, Joost is needed because they help us. Or if the farmer says, Joost, we know, but there was no lecture on our farm, never ever, and not in the village, and even not in the next village. We have to close these gaps. We have to be there, then we can be efficient. We have external lecturers, think you also. External lecturers who are working directly with the farmers, and they give one lecture for just one subject, very practically related on the latest level of knowledge. When I'm professor in my university, applied sciences, it means I need a PhD. I have it done at the University of Hohenheim. Some of you know the university. Then you have to stay at least 5 years outside of university in industry or practice before you can come back to be professor at our university. So not bachelor at the university, master at the university, PhD at the university, and never, but that's the situation for universities, isn't it? And never been outside and challenged with, can I say reality? With the reality of the farmers, we also have our reality. So we are forced by law, you would like to say, to be outside. Otherwise, you cannot be a professor at applied science. In university, yes. Basic science, yes, it's different. But applied science needs this. Now, I have been outside in a research institute and I can profit from this knowledge 20 years ago, okay? It's getting less and less actual. So external lecturer can fresh up these things. We have to work with them maybe more. Thesis together with the industry. We have a placement 1 month with industry. Can be John Deere, can be New Holland, can be a Dutchman or whatever. But working with agriculture 1 month. And then the students, from master students, they get touched to industry. They get known for industry. And the most important thing for me is to create possibilities. We create possibilities. The others have to take the possibility. In such a placement, the student will maybe make his master thesis about the topic. What is about the mechanization possibilities of farmers in Kisumu County? Or machinery, or development of pig pork production, whatever. And then the student is doing a work which is directly attached to the industry. And the people from industry, if you want to be successful, you need good people, powerful people, understanding what has to be done. The industry take the student in the placement to look, may this guy fit to my enterprise afterwards? And the first job possibility may be generated this way. Or we have another thing that you will have maybe in Kisumu area, a machinery ring project by GIZ. One of your students, Bridget, we see afterwards what she has done working, is now coming the next month to come here to collect data about possibility of machinery rings. Which farmers would be interested? Which kind of work could be done? How much are the farmers willing to pay for? If she has done this master thesis about this topic and the project is stepping in, who is better to make the project than herself? She would be perfectly prepared if the project is coming. And if not, mechanization is an issue. Which kind of mechanization we should do. So we try to create opportunities, possibilities. My job is not finished with the certificate. My job is finished if my student has a job. Even more, if the one who has given the job to my student tells me, Ralf, do you have another one? I need somebody else like that. Then my job is good. Then I'm on the right track, not the certificates. So, for the master study course, this is one of the tools, integrating practice and study process. This 1 semester internship on family farms. Yes, we have to look for farms being able to do this. Yes, we have to develop it. It takes years. Outside from TV, the people were asking with which farms you are already cooperating, and the Vice Chancellor answered a little bit general because she hasn't known. I would have told, hey, it takes 5 years to have established with farm something. It's not done from today to tomorrow. You need trust and support and a lot of efforts. And the business internship, I also was just talking about in an agricultural company. So you see this machine, that's a fan and that's a plough. And the student is your student, Bridget. She was doing the work. And I talked to her before I was coming here. And she said, Ralph, she said professor, she's not giving me by with Ralph, she said professor, the placement, it was so hard. It was so tough from the physical side and from the psychological side also. I had to go out to feed the cows and everything was dark around. It was at 5 in the morning when I started. And it was winter time, everything was dark, it was cold, it was hard. But she's at the end of the study. The best thing of the study was the placement. Because there she understood what agriculture means, what profitability means, what competitiveness means. She learned agriculture. And we supported theoretically with the other staff what are the backgrounds for these things she has done and seen to better deal with it, with the resources. So if you would ask me, Ralph, would you give up the placement if there is a possibility in this and that? I will say never, ever. I never would give up the placement. I know that some university will tell you, I had contact with Russian. The first agricultural institute in Russia is in Moscow, the Teremyasev Academy. That's the first one. I was there, I talked to a professor, said, we would like to introduce your study course, but our students do not enter the shed. They don't get dirty feet. Yeah? And I told him, that's very interesting. Our students, each of them have to enter the shed. We cannot cooperate. You have another way to go, our way is practical. We need it. It's no other chance. It's agriculture, it's food. We have to understand what has to be done. We have to know where are the problems. And then we can develop. And then Christine, she is and internship business, certified farms. Not just a farm, not just to send the people somewhere. Accompanying the people by doing the practical semester. We have staff, they make each week an online meeting to understand where the students are, to talk about how the crops are growing, where are the problems, to what they should have an eye to. They go around with pro camps to make on the field information about diseases maybe, something like that, so that the students, while doing the placement, always get a theoretical input and always are kept close to us, that they understand what we are doing. And this, doing it together, the farmers, the students and us, this has given the value to the thing that they really have a chance to get forward and to understand, because it's not easy. A lot of the bachelor students coming to us never have touched a cow before, never had the possibility to be so close to agriculture. Might be different in your university, but I know a lot where you don't have a chance. Or if you have dairy, research is important, isn't it? Then you see 2 cows staying there. They are fed with manioc, with cassava leaves, because of research reasons, and they look terrible. This is not an example about modern agriculture. You need a small kind of unit running professionally where the students understand what can be done and what can be achieved. So these are the things to start, and I think we to discuss around, but I don't want to take too much time. While we were talking about one of the elements, and that's the International Master of Farm Management, which is the column and the platform for exchange, we have done a lot of other things. We have invited you or some of you to come to us to get training in lecturing in some of the compulsory subject of farm management. We had postgraduates with us for 5 months. We train coming with an entrepreneurial idea and helping them to develop this idea and to make them that they can step in the market if possible. We have the TAP project from Dragan, looking for the best ideas and try to help them to make this first step. Yeah, that they start with small business. We have had international research and capacity building project. We have done Erasmus projects, or we are doing. Chain is one, I'll show afterwards, where you are involved. We have another one which is called Basis, where we try to build up the placement farms together. And we are working in a network, so we are not always doing all the projects with one university or two. We try to distribute, but the knowledge of everything we are doing has to be available in the network for all institutions at the end of the day. And I think we are quite successful with this kind of projects. Don't misunderstand me. I'm not doing the project in first line to have a project. I'm just doing the project that we can work faster and more efficient on our way, what we want to do. Therefore, I need money, then I can involve more people and do more. A project itself is just something starting and ending. It's not the thing I'm living for. I'm living what I want to have, and with this I will come to an end maybe. What I would like to have is that we come back, I said it in the morning, and in 10 years or 15 years, and we are going to the farms and they say, some of these ideas we were talking about, you can see here. Some alumni of farm management of JUICE have been here introducing this or that. This is what I want to see. Then I'm happy. So this was my part. The involvement, this is a Erasmus plus chain project. I think all of you know Erasmus, huh? Erasmus is are the funds in the European Union, and they have a lot of different activities. There's also mobility as one part of projects, but this one is capacity building, and it's called Chain Project. And the Chain Project, it's difficult to read, I know, but this is another possibility of a collaboration. It's a food value chain master to be introduced. A food value chain master to be introduced. And this is another possibility to involve more colleagues, because farm management is a certain circle, food is another, crop is another, and so on. This is another possibility for collaborating. 3 years just started, and we're looking forward to get interesting results for all the universities. This is what I wanted to present you for the moment, and I'm open for questions, or we go to the next presentation. Thank you.
Thank you, Ralph. Allow me to request Solomon to give leaders in giving Ralph the Kenya Lakes clap. Thank you, Ralph. That was quite elaborate. We are going to take I think you've taken us through what this partnership is all about. You've shown us the location of this campus and your slogan of Applied Science for Life. We've taken us through the exchange for trust and understanding across the 5 areas: share experiences, share established contacts, top management and exchanges, set out insights and applied university and support efficiency. And of course, the most important thing was back to the farmers. And how do we come closer to farmers? You've indicated that everything depends on people. If you get the right people, you're good to go. Yeah, this placement is actually really important to our students. Every time I talk to them, they have a year placement in farm is really something. And now you are even introducing the aspect of 5 years in the industry. I wonder whether you give some assessment before somebody becomes a professor. Of course, through the exchange activities, the lecture trainings, postgraduate courses, bachelor summer school, I'm the dean of the school, and I know my students have really benefited from this kind of exchanges. when they come back, they are better. And of course, now with the involvement of the project of Erasmus for the Holistic Agriculture Innovation Nest for Sub-Saharan Africa, I know this is also going to be a big thing. I want to welcome the founding VC, Professor Stephen Agong. I'm told he's connected, and he could want to make some remarks. Prof, if you can hear me, take up the stage and make your remarks.
Thank you so much, Dean. Thank you so much, distinguished delegates. It's very early. It's not yet even 5 o'clock here, but allow me to make some quick remarks. If you can just allow me to share the screen, 1 second.
Go ahead.
Okay. Right, our Vice Chancellor, management team, distinguished delegates, good morning from this end. I don't know whether it's afternoon there now, but let me take this opportunity first and foremost to thank Ralph and team for honoring this invitation to come and organize this high-level workshop in our university and, of course, in Kenya. I know that our collaboration has gone through evolutionary process, as well as quite clear demonstration in terms of what a good strategic partnership is all about. But for this reason, I wanted just to share with you some slides. I want to believe that what we have done in terms of collaboration is that we have learned a lot of things together as a team, both Joust and also WEIHENSTEPHAN-TRIESDORF, University of Applied Science and Science. And the fact that we have got now something to talk about in terms of exchange of students, exchange of staff, and faculty is a clear indication and demonstration that is a worthwhile network. So we have learned a lot of things together, and this ideally we should try to sustain. Apart from learning together, we have also been working together, and I want to thank Gor and team for having really been consistent, supportive of this collaboration, which started a while ago. I don't know whether I missed the earlier portion of the introductory remarks, but my apologies for that. But we know that quite a number of our students have managed to join WEIHENSTEPHAN-TRIESDORF, University of Applied Science. And out of this, we are already seeing that indeed agriculture is much more beneficial to our communities than we had seen before, especially for those of us who have managed to visit that university. But this workshop then has brought us as partners to really see what we can do together even better. But of course, I'm happy that Ralph talked about something about trust. Mutual trust is critical for this kind of partnership. Apart from mutual trust, communication between our two institutions would be critical if you're going to enhance the collaboration we are talking about. Also, let me just emphasize that regular reflection is critical, and I think this is one of them that we are doing in terms of regular reflection between ourselves and what we have done within our respective institutions. But of course, we must also accept and understand our unique differences, without which it becomes very difficult. But if we cannot harness these aspects and tenets of collaboration, it may be very difficult. So I want just to encourage both of us, the youth side and WEIHENSTEPHAN-TRIESDORF side, that even with our unique differences, we should really nurture those differences for our own gain and for our future collaboration. But of course, if we do not work towards a common shared vision, we would have lost it. And I think the common vision here is that what is it for our students? What is it for our farmers? What is it for our respective countries? And I think if we want to look at food security at the apex of all this, then most likely we are going to come out of this workshop stronger and even in a much better position to sustain our network and collaboration. But of course, in all this, we have to be consultative and also just appreciate that indeed every one of us is bringing something critical to the table. But let me also quickly mention that without appreciating our processes, we must own the processes together jointly. The research processes, the research results, we must also own everything that we do about this, and whether we have got perceived short-term, medium-term, and long-term benefits, we must also own them, whether they are a bit difficult sometimes, or even exciting, or even quite beneficial. We must appreciate that. But then we must be realistic. If we are building this partnership and we are looking at potential possibility of getting donor support, sometimes we may fail to get the funding, sometimes we may get the funding, and it takes a while to build what I would call a sustainable partnership. But in all this, I've always used this illustration that if we were to be on our own here as youth, it may be very difficult. And the challenges may be so overwhelming that it becomes very difficult to bear. And with the coming of WEIHENSTEPHAN-TRIESDORF as part of our collaboration, then we can overcome quite a lot of these challenges. And if we can look at this vision where we are saying, okay, with some technology coming on board, some kind of good ideas coming on board, then there's a high chance that we can win over. It will be a win-win situation for us. I want just to use those few slides to illustrate why it is so important for this particular high-level workshop that we are undergoing today. And I want to believe that with this, some of this that we have just shared, it will go towards one, enhancing our quality in terms of teaching, technological advancement and innovation. Number two, that it will also help us optimize the resources that we have before us and within our hands. The resources we have, first among these resources is the student community. Is so critical. The staff, the faculty, and every one of us is important as a contributor to this particular basket. So if you optimize these resources we have, then we can go a long way. Number three, then we can also advance in terms of access and equity in terms of our education. When we are talking about master's program in agribusiness, farm management, or even sustainable agriculture, then we can then allow more students to come on board. I'm happy that already this collaboration has generated a lot of networks within the continent and also outside the continent. And with this, then you get a greater pool of those who can contribute towards our network. And last but not least, I'm happy that when we focus on the student as the primary beneficiary, the farmer as the final person to consume our research products, our teaching and training, our scientific innovation and research work, then definitely we'll be adding to the basket, the national basket and the international basket. And right now when we are talking about key issues, even at the African Climate Summit that was held in Nairobi not long ago, if you listen to that discussion, the climate change is going to override us if we are not careful in terms of food security, water security, health security, and even environmental security, which I'm sure Professor Ralph really elaborated on a while ago. So ladies and gentlemen, I just want to encourage you and wish you well as you go through this two-day workshop. Sorry that I could not be there physically, but I want to believe even sharing with you through this Zoom is good enough. And I just want to wish all of you, our new Vice Chancellor, congratulations once again. The management team, I wish you well. And the team that is also putting this workshop together, Goran team, thank you so much. May God bless you. And I'll drop off in a short while so that I can catch a bit of the sleep before I'm put on a lot of tasks again. But I hope you'll understand. So otherwise, I wish you well, but I'll stay on if there are any specific questions related to what Ralph said or even what I've just said. Thank you so much, Goran team.
Thank you, Prof, for taking time. You look warm. We've heard you clearly on the approach to understanding our challenges. Your 8 points, majorly mutual trust, and the last one, number 8, on consultativeness. And of course, of the ownership, because on another bit on the ownership, owning the processes, the results, and of course, being realistic. With this kind of collaborations, the climate change should not override us. We have good networks and experts. I'll request the gallery to ask Professor Gong questions first, if you want to react before we ask Raf, because he's actually requested that he could be out on something. So if you have something quick that you want to ask Professor Gong, or you want to react to, or any comments regarding his presentation. Okay, thank you, Professor Gong. Let me start with the Chair of the Council.
I take this opportunity to wish you well, and I hope that you will also gain more knowledge to part with us and to share with us. All the God's blessing.
Thank you so much, Chairman of Council.
Yeah, thank you so much, Professor Gong. Actually, our being here today, this Professor Gong speaking, is your brainchild. You remember when we were at Triesdorf and the meeting we had together, you are the one who pushed this idea for us to have what has been termed the high-profile workshop. So I think this is something which you followed up with a lot of passion, even though you may not be with us here physically, but your contribution was immense for it to reach where we have reached today. So we wish you well and all the best. May God bless you also. Thank you.
Prof, mine, as you are dean, you are 1 year of sabbatical, you have a target to bring us something better, and I hope you are going to make the best use of your time in the US for the 1 year you're on sabbatical to give us something similar to what you've done, and any other thing that will support the school and the university, we'll be very grateful. Thank you. Maybe I want you, you might...
Thank you so much.
Go ahead.
Thank you so much, Dean, and our team over there. I can now see quite a number of familiar faces. Council members, good morning over there, or good afternoon. Yeah, I'm happy that this workshop has been attended by the council, the employer of all of us, including the one who is on sabbatical. So, Dean, I can only assure you that respectfully, that's why mutual trust, respect, and nurturing our collaboration and partnership is critical. I think my being here was endorsed by the council. So the 1 year I'll be here, I can only say that God has been so kind to allow me this space. Not many of us get this kind of space to even get a visiting professorial appointment in the US. So I just thank God that it worked out. And I'll do what it takes within the provision of God's care and mercy and grace to see what can be brought forward, especially towards building our university to be a better institution. I think we are still very far if we compare ourselves with even WEIHENSTEPHAN-TRIESDORf. If you look at their budget and you look at our budget, there is no comparison. They are way ahead of us, yet it's just a smaller segment in terms of a school there or a university in TRIESDORf. So the biggest budget that they get is really through grants, and I'm happy they are here within our context, right there in Kisumu. I know that Ralph and team mean well for us. Seriously, they mean well for us, and if we nurture, especially their talent in grant writing and mobilization, will not go wrong. And with the new management there, as well as the faculty and the support from the council, we cannot go wrong. I'm convinced. And even from where I sit right now, I see so many opportunities. Sometimes you may want to do quite a lot, but you are only having two hands. But I know that when you are there with the team and God, if there is something which we must also write and ensure that we get money for the university, we shall do that. There are a lot of opportunities. And this is just one high-level workshop that I think we felt was very critical. And as God said, as this collaboration phase 1 was coming to an end, it was our desire that we map out what next. And I think before end of tomorrow, we should have really grasped the gist with the support of the council that what next in terms of food security, in terms of water security, in terms of health security. I think critically, and even if you look at environmental stewardship, if we nurture around these 4 areas, we are likely to get good funding. But my assurance to you, Dean, that I'm your faithful faculty member, and I will do with God's blessing and protection to ensure that something comes out of this 1 year sabbatical appointment in the US. So I think with that, I just want also to thank the council for having given me a chance to be on this sabbatical. And indeed, it's a privilege to serve even here. Some of the ideas we are talking about, I will be making this known in a short while, but they are definitely not bad ideas. They are good ideas for our university, for our region, and for our country, and for the continent, because Africa as a continent has a bigger mandate to get involved in the key areas of serious humanity, challenges that are affecting humanity. And if you ask me any minute, food security, water security, health security, environmental security. These are the things, and I'm sure the chairman of council will tell you as much. When he was at, I'm sure when he attended the African Climate Summit, these are the things people are talking about. And even at the UN, which was a meeting that was taking place here in the US, not just last week, you would hear such things being talked about. Otherwise, thank you so much. May God bless you, and I wish you well. You look wonderful people there. In fact, Chairman, you look younger today. I think it was a nightmare to come through with the appointment process, but now we are done. Congratulations. All right. All the best, dear friends.
Thank you, Prof. You can now drop off at your pleasure if you wish. We can now take questions for Raf. If there's no question, that means that it was either too clear. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Yes. Thank you, Prof. With that direction, I invite Professor Christopher Obel Gore to give us the Kenya perspective, the collaboration between JUST and TRIESDORF, achievements, lessons, and challenges. Prof, take up the stage.
As we are preparing to make the presentation, just for us to relax, can you turn to the person on your right, first of all, and then tell them, welcome to JUST. the home of creativity. Tell them the home of creativity. An African Center of Excellence. Thank you. My presentation will be very simple, straightforward, because most of the issues have been actually captured by Professor Ralph and even Professor Gong. But I think if we have to eyeball in terms of what we have gone through, then I would confidently indicate that our collaboration has actually snowballed into 3 main areas. And the first main area we can indicate is the International Masters in Farm Management. International Masters in Farm Management. That would be actually the foundation of this collaboration, in the sense that it is through this International Masters in Farm Management that the first engagement was done with 9 other universities. And then the second main area, which I'll also capture here, concerns development of the digital content. Because in that curriculum, we have 10 units. And out of those 10 units, if we were to participate in that consortium, then each university participating in the consortium are requested to adopt 9 out of those 10 units. So that it is the 10th unit or course that we have the liberty to model after our own taste. So therefore, in this particular case, most of us who have been going to Triesdorf to learn what they are doing, particularly related to the course, is to actually come back home and see the whole approach of delivery, or mode of delivery. For sure, when you are there, you can see that they have the practical aspect, where our students who have been accepted there, the first 6 months, they go through the internship. They are attached to a farm or a farm. And this is farm of FIRM. And they understudy or look at what the farmer is doing, the challenges the farmer is doing before they step into the classroom. So this is a very big distinction between our approach. Secondly, once they start their coursework, the professor, like Professor Raf here, he takes a back seat. And it is the students who take the front seat. And the professor would at one point say, okay, for the class today, our next topic is probably farm accounts. So and so and so and so, can you go and prepare a PowerPoint so that in the next class, it is the student who will be presenting. And then after their presentation, their mates or classmates engage in discussions. But when there is a bone of contention, that's when the professor gently steps in to actually give direction. So you can see, again, that is a very big departure, because for us here, including myself, we like to lecture students. And sometimes we even say, hey, keep quiet when the professor is talking. But there, the students are put up front, you see? So therefore, technically, the interaction between us and Triesdorf was to actually go and see the mode of delivery, so that once we get accreditation for our international master's program, then we could have the same mode of delivery, so that all students who graduate, whether they are from Triesdorf, from Mountain of the Moon in Uganda, from Aresa in Ethiopia, they would have gone through the same process in terms of mode of delivery. So that was very crucial, because I still want just to eyeball the third eyeball, because I've talked about the international masters and the digital content, converting those 9 courses into content digitally. So that if, for example, Dr. Mary Urinda, who is teaching our production economics, she can teach production economics across the 9 universities, and she's seated somewhere in Joost, using the digital content, you see? So that's why there was need to convert the content of the courses into digital. The last area of eyeball in terms of the collaboration, I would say, is the technology adoption transfer research. So therefore, Triesdorf team have been pushing that can we have joint proposal writings which are award-winning. And shortly you will see there are some benefits, because we have already written and prepared together some of the proposals which have already been funded. So this is what I wanted to, as we continue, to present. But like every journey, there was once a beginning. And when was the beginning? The year was 2018. And if you can remember from Joost, Professor Mook is the one who first pushed the ball in terms of collaboration and even signing of the MOU Triesdorf. And as Professor Raf has indicated, we have also our colleague from SECO, because because in Kenya, as we will see in a little while, we are three universities. But by the time I came on board, just one virtual meeting, I saw Maseno, somebody was representing Maseno, then he fell off the screen. So since then, we have not seen them until now. Until now, Dr. Nelson Obange has come on board. So therefore, this is how the whole thing started. And then from the Triesdorf team, they were led by Professor Ralph, then the Vice Chancellor at WEIHENSTEPHAN, and also Dr. Kate. Then in between 2018 up to this year, Professor Gong led a team. Professor Monica Yeko, if she's here, was part of the team. Professor Monica Yeko. Yes, and then Professor Andika is not here because of another engagement in Nairobi. And of course, myself, I was also there. And in that meeting is when now, as I indicated when Professor Gong was talking, this idea of having a high-profile workshop could be realized. And it makes me very happy that today we have actualized that particular dream and that particular proposal. Yeah, then I have masters in international management. What is the goal? You can see that the interest is actually to have a program where we train students who become specialists in application-based agriculture in terms of management. You see? Yes, we have been offering before, but ours was not so much application-based. Then within the goal there, you can see that if we do it, we will be elevated as an institution in terms of interacting internationally with those other 9 consortium members. And as I think one of the speakers indicated, this will also increase or strengthen our cultural and academic linkages. So this is a very good program. And I'm not shy to let you know that on our corner, we have cleared all the university requirements from the departmental board, school board, engagement of stakeholders, up to the Senate, which is the highest decision-making organ within the university. They have said, okay, so this program is no longer with us. Through the Registrar AA's office, it has been presented to Q. We had invited Q to be here today, but I've not seen them. But the curriculum is no longer with us. By the way, to be frank, it has taken some time. And that's what Professor Ralph was referring to, that when we started, we ran so fast and overtook the others who were on the ground. But towards the end now, those who started behind us, they have passed us, and they have accreditation. But ours, there is still something at Q which we are still waiting since September last year. Originally, these were the universities that I talked about who are collaborating. You can see the list there from number 1 up to number 10. Mostly Ethiopian universities were more than 2. Then we have even Royal University from Cambodia, among others. So these are the original teams in terms of collaboration. But some of them, as indicated, Maseno was there, but they didn't follow up very actively. Now, what is one of the outcome in terms of achievement? As have been indicated by many speakers, we have had faculty members who have attended 5 workshops and seminars from our faculty to Triesdorf. And the first one called Business Management for Partner Universities. I was graciously able to go with my colleague, Michael Nyagol, to attend that particular seminar. And as I indicated, even ourselves, we are required to join the class and see how the mode of delivery. So we benefited from that. Then there was a second seminar, which was an educational seminar called Corporate Planning. Dr. Rinda is here, she attended, and as well as Dr. Nyambok attended that particular seminar. Then we also have another one, because there were 5. Is where there was an entrepreneurship workshop, and I was invited to attend that particular one. Then we have summer school for development of digital teaching materials. And of course, you can see Dr. Rinda, Dr. Onyango. Dr. Onyango is here, as well as Professor Silvans was there, and they went for that particular seminar, come back, and now we are waiting there for them to do what is called TOT, to also engage other staff. Then there were also other training online seminars, which our staff have also benefited, particularly on the topic of business management, production economics, corporate planning, and digital content. And as you see, the engine of the whole push is agricultural based. But we have been advised that is plenary. So that is why you see ICT coming on very strongly there. So this just now photo opportunities for those who have attended. You can see from our side we are well represented, and also from SECO, Dr. Kilungu, and Mweu also attended that. Then these are the group that attended the digital content conversion. And very crucial, as was being indicated earlier, we have had now I think 3 cohorts of students. The first cohort was 6 from our alumni, those who have graduated with Bachelors of Science in the agriculture-related courses. There were 6, and they were taken in. Then we had a second cohort of 12, again from Bachelor of Science agriculture-based students. They were taken in to do that international masters in farm management. Then we also had another 6 undergraduates who are continuing students. This long holiday that we had from May to August, 6 of our students were there on summer school. And I've met some of them when I'm teaching them now. They are very, very excited, and they are dreaming of Germany for their postgraduate degree. Encourage them. Then lastly, July this year, where I've talked about Professor Yeko, Professor Gong, and myself also went to Triesdorf. Then the collaboration we are talking about, the Erasmus, practically as we seated here, we have been awarded through the Erasmus program, the chain project, where the total amount for there is a work package of about six work packages. And the second work package is for Juhust. And I think even farming systems, through Ken, you can carry your hands. Yeah, they are also participating, and they are part of the structure behind the university, so that we can integrate. And for us, our package is 76,761, and these are euros, not Kenya shillings. So if you convert, there's 11 million, which is trying to flow through the channel to come to our university, because I think they were on long holiday. So we were told that is why the money was not released. But now that they have resumed, so any time now, it can hit the university account. And it is for a 3-year project where we have collaborated together and put this proposal which has been awarded. So that is a input there. And the team members are there for you to see, including our DVCSR, who is leading us very well because he had other Erasmus projects before. So we are really tapping into his experience and the other members there. Then, as we are talking also, we have already made another proposal which is already being considered, again jointly with other universities in the consortium. And our lead partner is TRIESDORF University. And this is called the Intra-Africa Mobility Scheme. And the members of the team are there. So this one, we have been praying every day that it comes out positively. And it's also another big project which we have collaborated together. Then in November 22, Dr. Rinda Nyambok also participated in research project Bay for exchange. And that is the breakdown of our postgraduate students who are at TRIESDORF. Yeah, but these are now for the Kenyan students as a whole. Yeah, including even right now there are some students even from Egerton and possibly Pwani University. Yeah, so you can see right now from Joost, even as we are talking now, another 15 they made a call, I think 2 months ago, and hours after the call is done through the department and the dean's office, we advise students to apply, and the minimum requirement is 2nd class upper division and 1st class. But it is the team at TRIESDORF who actually have virtual interviews with the candidates, and then they select. Because sometimes you can be 1st class, but when they are being interviewed orally, they don't quite get the grasp. So therefore, after the interview from TRIESDORF, they normally advise us out of so many that were recommended, they selected, like right now they have selected 15. Is it okay if we clap for them a bit? Yeah, so it's positive there. And before I conclude that one, I must say that even when we were there, I think those of us who have been there, one of the most outstanding and humbling comment from the TRIESDORF team is that out of all the other international students, Joost students have stood out. How? That they are the disciplined, hardworking. And at the moment, one of the challenges we will talk about is after they have cleared their masters, then what next? So that is the other question, but our students have made us proud, discipline, and the hard work that they have exhibited there. Yeah, then in the meeting that we had in the last consultative visit, one of the issues was actually to come up with this arrangement that we have here today, and the meeting was convened by Professor Ralph, and the discussion involved considering, because as they were saying, and actually that's a very practical question. The question was, oh, so you are from Joost? Yes, we are from Joost. How long has Joost been in existence? You say, yeah, about over 10 years. Over 10 years. So point blank, what do you think as a university? What kind of impact have you created within the community around the university, or even around the region, or even nationally? So we were saying some things, but they said, but you seem not to be putting your finger on something which have changed the community. So they gave us as an example, they want us to think clearly and come up with specific intervention kind of research, which after we have concluded them, we can turn around and say, yes, just our impact to the community is on this and that and this. But the way we are just going through the normal routine of research, it looked like we are not focused. So therefore, the proposal was that can we have a high profile kind of meeting where we invite the German ambassador, the DAD director from Nairobi, GIZ director, and ministry officials plus council members. Then we think seriously of how we can move forward, particularly identifying areas that can positively impact on our own communities around the university. So that was the basis of that discussion, and today, as you can see, we are here trying to answer that question. Then what I mentioned earlier, the second bullet there, is that, as I indicated, some of our students there have excelled. They have done exceptionally well, and they are concluding their studies. But at Triesdorf, they don't have a PhD program going on. So the issue was, these good students who are coming through this program, what next? Can we, as an institution, because they were our students, once they get these international masters, can we think of even joint supervision so that they can join us as graduate assistants and even do their PhD before they join the main industry? So that is a question which is still in the air for consideration. Then lastly, the meeting also talked about collaboration calls for funding. And at this moment, I would like to indicate that this is the first phase of this workshop. Then the second phase will be at the main campus on 27th. So today, after I think the chair of the session will announce, after the reception, which sometimes he calls the cocktail, this evening, cocktail. After the cocktail, then we'll have tomorrow a tour so that the German team can see some of the historic places of interest or educational interest in the morning. Then in the afternoon, they will proceed. Those who are still be around will proceed to Johust for 27th. And 27th, it is going to be what they have termed intensive interaction between Johust faculty and partners who could be around and the team, so that we can come up with a specific proposal for joint research funding. So therefore, this is not the end. It will still continue on Wednesday, and then the team may leave on the 28th. Then there was also a second meeting, because as you can see that from the name of the university, WEIHENSTEPHAN-TRIESDORF. So that means they have two campuses. So what I've talked about was the meeting that took place at the Triesdorf campus. But at WEIHENSTEPHAN also, there was some proposal that we can have multidisciplinary project proposal that could be considered even to create an institute of food sciences or something. Then the second was that we can have a concept that actually capture elements of intervention. So wherever you are at Triesdorf or WEIHENSTEPHAN, that issue of intervention is dear to their call. They say, well, proposal, but this is, what is it going to intervene? What is the intervention? You don't just make basic. Can you identify a problem around the university and then go out to do the research and settle it? Yeah. Then you can see in number 3, we are also given at WEIHENSTEPHAN that they have African Bavarian Alliance, which is open for collaboration on activities which include, I can see Professor Lorna is looking at it very closely because you have mentioned land management. Yes, and even soil and water management. And any idea that we can have but associated with entrepreneurship. Then lastly, we also advise there that there's a range of funding and career services that through WEIHENSTEPHAN can be offered, including the Erasmus that we have talked about. They also have guest lectures and even teaching contracts, which if we interact with them, any of us can be involved in those. Yeah, so to wind up, those are some challenges that we can think of that at the moment accreditation for us is a challenge. We have done our part, but it is not forthcoming. So our bosses are already aware, and this is a big challenge because we started ahead of the pack, but now we are falling behind, and yet it is not our problem. The other one is international accreditation. We don't have adequate information on this issue of international accreditation and how we can benefit from it. Yeah. Then now pictorials. This is the picture opportunities. Lecturers training in Triesdorf from farm visits. Another one here. Our own lecturers are there. Yeah, you can see this digital thinking. I can see Sylvans is there, among others. And these are our students who are there for the summer school. And what was interesting that all the students who are there, if you show an interest, you are given a bicycle. Free of charge. Yes, you are given a bicycle. And I was shocked when I was there because some of the students, when they saw me, they were a little bit excited. Both as a Dino student and I'm the one who has been teaching them farm management. So they almost ran over me with bicycles. Then I said, but where did you get this bicycle? They say, yeah, the university actually give it free. You just sign and you are given. Because some of them are staying off campus. Yeah, so this is very inspiring. See? And these are our students. Don't think that they are from somewhere else. Yeah, and this is a team for the international masters from other countries as well. And you remember that the first group that came from Triesdorf, where Professor Busire and Professor Estambale welcomed the team. Professor Busire, I think, is around. Yes, he is the one who received them and actually conducted the whole meeting. You can see that. And this is the one that we went with Dr. Nyagol, and those are our students. The one on the far left, that is a valedictorian from Johust. That means the overall best first class student from the School of Agricultural and Food Sciences. Yeah, he's there. This Jared Olo, and they are doing wonders there. So let us encourage them. You can see Dr. Rinda and even Dr. Nyango when they went for the digital. And this is their team from other countries who are there. Yeah, and they are now going precision kind of training. And this is the last time when we went there at WEIHENSTEPHAN campus. I hope you can see Dr. Ndeka is there, Professor Yeko, Professor Gong, and I hope you are also seeing me there. Yeah, so I think that is all. This is now just our campus at Miandi. Thank you.
Can you give Professor Gore a better clap. Thank you very much, Prof. We've had the two experiences from JUST and the German side. I also need to manage time. I see Anja is here. I will welcome her to do the logistics of the first part, then you can proceed.
Thank you. So because we're running a bit late, we'll push some part of the program to after lunch, but I would like to address some technicalities before we break. You have all caught a fish in the beginning. I hope you still take good care of your fish. This fish will be your school of fish later. So you will be in the group of your color. Now for the men among you, I know that you're colorblind. This is red and this is pink. Okay? Pink and red, two different groups. I hope you are able to identify your group. So please, after lunch, we will assemble in our color groups. That means we will also change the seating arrangements and we will need to prepare the tables during lunch break. So what I like to ask you, before we go for lunch, please remove your things from the table so that we can arrange them during the lunch break. And when you come back, I will receive you with a little task. And in the afternoon, we had a lot of speeches now. In the afternoon, we'll now start.